Gotta do it now. Hey, 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 gotta stay on my grind, 'cause it's my time, my time, my time. If you with me, let me hear you say.
This is an interview brought to you by Philadelphia Sports Nation, a Wagrin Enterprises. It's Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philly sports fan experience. My name is Jeff Grasso, contributor to the Sixer Sports Nation, and I'm joined today with Coach Brett Brown, your coach for the Philadelphia 76ers. Coach, thank you so much for joining me.
No, it's good to speak to you, Jeff. Part of the coaching philosophy for me is to try to just look at those guys that are actually going to become a real part of the rotation and focus on playing that more. We did do that. We had success doing that and found a win. I think it was great having Joel Embiid back for the first time since, I'm told, I think it was March last year.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was great.
And you know what, you kind of bring up the whole coaching aspect and stuff, and I have to say, you know, the thing that I admire about you is your approach to coaching. You know, I watched the interview post-game last night, and you addressed how well Joel played and the need for him to find that sweet zone between, you know, reckless abandonment and, you know, still being himself. But what really struck me was that you said the next question better be about Dario and his performance. And then you know, kind of doubled down on that and said, you know, talked about TJ's ability to help the team. And I think that shows me and the fans that you look at the team holistically rather than just Star's performance. And, you know, I know it comes from your background from San Antonio. You said you'd rather be respected than loved as a coach. And can you point to an instance or an event that helped you learn that particular lesson as a coach?
I mean, I could point to many. I think I can better answer it this way, though. I've had 4 coaches along my path that have very much influenced me. I'm the son of a Hall of Fame New England coach. I played for a Hall of Fame coach at Boston University, Rick Pitino. I work for a Naismith Hall of Fame coach in Melbourne, Australia, who was recognized as one of the great international coaches, and spent 12 years with Greg Popovich, who will be in the Hall of Fame anytime he wants. And each of those coaches, you know, one of the main ingredients that you see in, to me, successful coaches is they can give tough love. You know, all good players want to be coached. And, you know, respect and trust and all those things comes in different forms. But I'd rather far prefer to be respected and loved. And I think that, you know, there's no blueprint of what that really means. I just know that I like coaching my guys. I like being with my guys. I like forming relationships that allows me to, you know, really coach them. And I tell them, you got to let me coach you. And sometimes Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, you might have to take a hit so that the team understands, like, we can coach our best players, well, we can coach everybody. And it's very much a rudder to the program. And some of that has been learned by those coaches. Some of it's my gut feel. But I love coaching my guys. They work hard, and I have respect for them. They really put in time and truly want to get better.
Yeah, and you could tell. I think the guys really respect and love you. Just seeing what, you know, J.J. Redick said this offseason about, you know, you being a crucial part in the reason why he came over. You know, that was I think it speaks volumes to you, and it should, you know, just from that player's perspective. I know it's cliche that there's no easy wins in the NBA, but your season to begin starts off pretty difficult with some, you know, playoff quality teams. What's the approach that you're going to take, you know, especially if the team kind of struggles out of the gate? You know, how do you keep them motivated in that face of adversity?
It's a fair question, and I go back to why I took the job 4 years ago. And this is a little bit, you know, not so sexy and probably very much cliche, but it's true. I'm convinced, like, the good days add up. I'm convinced if I can really sell that to my team and not skip steps and not get tricked by feeling like you got to come out and just be so perfect and that good, when we kind of have no right to be. You know, we got 2 guys that have never played a second in the NBA, and Markelle and Ben. You got a bunch of new guys that have come in that don't really know me and are learning a lot about the system. You got continuity with TJ and Dario and Covington and Stauskas as an example. But if we keep it real and we keep putting in good days, and we tick the boxes that you know you have to tick with defense and situations, and making sure that we're organized and our fitness is A+++, then I think the good days add up. And that's always been my belief. And last year we saw it. Like, we hit payday in January. We got playing.
Oh,
and we had health, and so it's a long answer, but that's the best simplicity I can give you.
Yeah, it's like one day at a time, and Rome wasn't built in a day, but every hour somebody was working there. So it seems like that kind of mentality is kind of what you're going to take there.
And there's a discipline. Like, it's easy for you and I to be on the phone and talk about it. You live this thing in real time, and you start feeling like the anxiety of the city, or the weight of the media, and trying to keep my guys' locker room on point and continue to stay with them and not have meltdowns. Like, the pain of losing is real. And so, all those things are easier when you and I talking on an interview, but there's a discipline that we all have, and since I'm the head coach, it's got to be led by me to make sure that we live it. You can't just say it, you got to live it, and I try to do that as best I can.
Oh, that's great. Now, I mentioned to you earlier that I'm a teacher here at in Abington, and a couple hours north of Philly. And I told my students, and they've all become kind of Sixers fans, whether they're trying to just earn a couple extra points on my good side or whatever. But they were begging me to stay after school and listen to the interview. But I did promise that I'd ask two questions.
You got it.
One, they said, do you plan on keeping the beard for the season?
Yep.
Right.
Well, no. Yep was only I hear the question, and I'll answer it, then we'll go to the other question.
Okay.
The answer is no, I will not. I don't know when it's going to come off. I would expect it's going to come off before the first game. It's something that, happened after Summer League, and then I went camping in the woods of Maine, and it was out of fatigue and boredom. And so I think that those days are coming to an end.
I got you. Well, they're a fan of it. So if you decide to keep it, you're going to have some sixth graders that do like that. Another one that they had asked was, how do you plan on playing Simmons? And I think to kind of, expand on that a little bit, do you try to run a high post or a pick and roll or, pace and space? Or you preach that? Or do you see yourself trying to show off the weakness of other teams, or what they can show you on a certain night?
I think it's a fair question. It's a hybrid of all those things. It's like, think about what we have. We have a 6'10", legitimately 6'10", primary ball carrier. You can call him a point guard, or you can call him a primary ball carrier. Call him what you want. That's what he can do. And so how do you exploit that in open court? He has breakaway speed that he's got no right to have at 6'10". You would think that's sort of reserved for smaller, maybe more nimble guards. He has that. And so I want to capitalize on running and giving him the ball in the first, 3 to 5 seconds of the shot clock, making him lethal, playing downhill, and just really playing with a high speed. Then it gets into a half-court game, and, who's going to guard him? I think three men, people like Crowder, people like Kawhi Leonard, people like Gordon Hayward, those guys. I don't see, Chris Paul type or Tony Parker type guarding him. So now it's a half-court game, and, how are you going to, perhaps post him up and, take smaller people down and play off the post and space Joel. Joel's a luxury because he can shoot threes. How do you put him in a sort of a funky pick and roll where maybe he's the screen setter and JJ has the ball, and are they going to switch that? And now, maybe Ben can roll down a point guard and you can punish that.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. We're going to have fun with this. We're all going to learn. What ultimately sits in my mind the most is movement rules the day. The pass is king. Sharing the ball is everything. Static basketball is not what I'm interested in. And, I hope to be able to pull all that off and take advantage of the physical skills and just the overall skills that Ben possesses.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that, like his speed. I think everybody gets so enamored with the ball handling that you kind of miss that. He is really, his agility is incredible.
Incredible, yeah. In open court, incredible.
And then I just have one last question, and this is more on a personal level. I know you come from a history and a background of educators, and you have a family as well. And my wife and I just recently had our daughter in August, which has been the most amazing and tiring job I've ever had. Is there any advice on finding that balance, of being a teacher and a coach like I am and you are, as well as being a husband and a dad?
Yeah, I think there's two things that stand out to me. One is a little bit a part of your question. One is directly a part of your question. I think people that can find a rhythm to their day and have some type of, pretty established routine enables you to proportionally distribute, time with your wife and time for yourself and time with your kid. And, all the successful people and players that I've been around, they have a real rhythm to their day. Some might call that robotic. Some might call that too rigid. I don't call it that. I call it organized.
Yeah.
I think when I start raising my children or coaching my players, you're always trying to challenge them to find their passion. There's nothing like, you as an educator or me as a coach. If you really love what you do, that is the holy grail to living, I think. We spend too much time otherwise.
Yeah.
And, your daughter will grow up, and mine are now out of the house. I got one still with me. But balancing your day for family time and trying to, give your children some type of life lesson and path, those two things come to my mind.
I really appreciate that. I've been taking everybody's kind of advice and kind of piecing it all together and kind of making it my own. And you're right that you do have to kind of make time for everyone, and for everything. Coach, thank you so much for your time. I know that you have a lot going on. I really appreciate your insight. Good luck today. Good luck going forward the season. Section 120, where we are at the center, and the entire city is going to be cheering hard for you. This has been an interview brought to you by Philadelphia Sports Nation. Philly Sports Nation, enhancing your Philly sports fan experience. Thank you again, Coach.
Yeah, my pleasure, Jeff. Thanks, man.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Good stuff. Take care.
Okay.